So I had the opportunity in Nashville, Tennessee to have a conversation, totally unplanned. We just found a room to talk with someone that many would consider to be a ghost. And yet this apparition has appeared before me. Dave Warnock. Dave, where you been? Where you been?
I've just been around. I've been here. I've been Nashville. I'm still here, not dead. Not dead yet. Didn't know I'd be here for this many years when I got diagnosed with this thing. I just turned 70. So that's a big number that I don't know if I like the idea of being 70, but the alternative is not great.
I mean, I'm going to say things and ask questions. I'm going to let the audience participate vicariously through me, and I'm going to say this stuff that they might be thinking.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say this, but you're past your expiration date, right? I mean, the doctor said you had how many years?
The standard diagnosis is 3 to 5 years. They tell you, you've got ALS, you've got 3 to 5 years. That can vary wildly with ALS patients, from 6 months to 20 years. 20 years is an outlier, but many people go in 6 months, 2 years, whatever. It's just, every case is completely different. So I've been at it over 6 years, almost 7 now.
You feel like there are some believers praying for you that think this is a miracle?
It has been said to me.
Has it?
Such that, as one person put it recently, perhaps God has given you some extra time so that you can reconsider your deconstruction apostasy ways.
Sure, to see the error of your ways and come back to the fold.
As though God couldn't do that quickly. He needs a little extra time. Extend my suffering a few years.
I have to do my due diligence here because there are some who are being introduced to you for the first time.
How could this be?
I know, everyone should know your name. You are a legend, a man among men, all those things. The hero we need.
How could this be?
Dave, you have ALS. Can you tell everybody, what is ALS and when were you diagnosed?
I'm going to try to pronounce it correctly. Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. Most people know of it more commonly as Lou Gehrig's disease. I've had it, well, I was diagnosed February 26, 2019. The diagnosis followed what I can look back at and realize were symptoms that I'd had for 6 to 7 months prior. I just didn't know what they were. So clearly I've had the disease in my body for over 7 years. So I'm on the long end of things in terms of how long this stuff takes to kill you. It is a terminal disease. There's no cure, there's no treatment. They don't know what causes it. They don't know anything about it. It's this mystery disease. So I've been told I have a slower progressing version of it, which has been good. I've been, a lot of people, if they had seen me at a conference a few years ago, I was still walking around. They could see I was affected in my arms some. I think, the last time we hung out, you could see that I had trouble feeding myself and stuff like that. But I was still walking up and down off the stage or whatever, or around the conference or wherever I was. But now I can't. I really can't walk more than a few steps.
Now, I see the chair. So are you chair bound now?
I would say, chair bound means you have to be lifted out of it onto a bed or a shower or something. I don't have to. I could still transfer myself, which is the medical term for get from one place to another without assistance. So I can get up out of this chair and waddle over to the couch or waddle to my bed and get in it. So that's my limitation, though. So, but I can, for instance, go somewhere in a portable wheelchair, go to the car, get myself into the car seat. And not car seat like a kid, but into the passenger seat, so to speak. And I can, so I've got that ability still.
So in the time we've hung out, we had lunch together. I've noticed I haven't seen you move your arms. Are you able to move your arms?
About like that.
A little off camera. You're able to raise it up just above.
Even that effort is pretty
navel.
much shoulder muscles doing it.
I see.
I'm not using any hand or arm muscles.
Dexterity of the fingers and all that. Yeah.
Oh, that's gone. Almost no hand strength left. Because that's where it started, was my hands. So
neuropathy kind of thing, or
no pain. Just the muscles are, the nerves tell the muscles what to do, and the muscles say, "No, hell no, I'm not doing that." That's pretty much it.
Again, I'm still learning, but does that create a conflict in your brain? Your brain says, this should make the fingers, the digits move.
Yeah, the nerves, I don't know if it's a neurological disease. So motor neurons, the neurons aren't firing, and the muscles don't ever get the signal, pretty much. And so they atrophy. So my muscles are gradually dying. And I guess the reality that I wasn't aware of at the time, I had strong leg muscles to begin with. So they've taken longer to deteriorate.
I mean, we're thankful that you're still with us.
Yeah, no, I'm glad to be here.
Okay, I mean, I'm not trying to say you're past your expiration date. What the hell? I'm I'm
As
so glad.
one of the comments long ago said,
Yeah.
hadn't Dave been dying out loud for 10 years now or something like that?
Because Dying Out Loud was is it still a web
brand, so to speak.
Is it Dave Out Loud or Dying Out Loud?
Well, the Dying Out Loud website was taken, so I went with daveoutloud.org. So it's still there. It's a little outdated. I haven't done a lot lately because it's just harder to do, but it's still there. You can find all my stuff I've done for years on there.
Do you have some people who think you're full of shit? Like Dave said he'd be gone in 2 years, and he was doing all this activisting, and he wrote a book, and he did the speaking circuit. Do you feel like there's some people that think this is all theater?
So even the wheelchair, you just did that for sympathy and attention. Now, I don't know. I haven't had anyone directly say that, but like I said early in the first couple of years, I would see in the comments of some show, like, hasn't Dave been dying out loud for 10 years or something like that? Honestly, when I got diagnosed, Seth, I thought, I may have a year or two, so I'm going to make the most of it. And then it went longer and went longer and went longer, and I thought, okay, I'm going to be around a little longer than I thought. Can be good, can be bad.
We've talked about this, but when you got the diagnosis, like day of,
yeah,
are you terrified?
I don't know. I guess numb was a better word. I don't remember being afraid. I remember like it settled in like a wet blanket, like this is my new reality and I'm going to have to adjust to that. And so it was a sense of like unreal. It was like, is this happening to me? Because by the time I'd gotten diagnosed, I'd had a lot of testing and been online and researched what ALS is and what it looks like. There's videos of people in really bad shape at the end, and I thought, okay, that's going to be me. That's my destiny. It was a surreal feeling. Is more what I remember experiencing.
Are you afraid of death?
Again, I don't know why not, but I'm really not. I guess when it comes down to those final moments, I may have a little bit of a panicky feeling. I don't know, but I don't think I'm afraid. The process sounds pretty simple. I go to sleep and I don't wake up, and I don't think that's a very fearful experience. But again, it's a thing that none of us have experienced and then been able to talk about afterwards. So we do it one time, and my time is approaching. I don't know how much time I have left. I'm more afraid of not having a quality of life and being compromised in such a way that life is no longer worth living. That's what I'm more afraid of.
What does that look like? You tell me how much you want to share. Have you decided when the time comes, I decide, I take control, whether it's medical aid in dying or I don't even know what the laws are in Tennessee. I mean, because
Bad.
people are, really? Is it like you're playing God? Is that the tack they're taking here?
That's the approach. I think that's exactly why most states do not have a medical aid in dying law on the books. Very few states do, like Canada has. And I think it's because of the undercurrent of religion that is pervasive in our country. And there are a lot of people who say those very words. You're playing God, and God decides when to take you home, or God's the one that decides who lives and who dies. I don't know what my line is. I've probably moved it already a couple times. I think I probably said back in the day, whenever I can't walk, I'm out of here. Whenever I can't do this, I'm done. And that's okay. I mean, we don't know till we get up to the edge of the line.
Isn't that about control, though? Like when I spoke to the folks at Final Exit, they were talking about the fact that people who have control of, how they manage end-of-life decisions, having that control gave them peace.
Yeah.
And it allowed them the flexibility on their terms to decide the who, what, when, and where, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I've worked with Final Exit Network in years past, and I think they told me like 50 to 60% of the people that sign up with them never use their services. They just like knowing that it's an option. So it is about control. It's about me being the one who decides what I'm comfortable with in terms of a quality of life. And when you're not encased in religious ideology, when you don't have a God that you're answering to, and you know that your own destiny is in your own hands, then you're free to make those kind of decisions without any thoughts of, am I displeasing some deity who's going to be upset with me? I don't even think about that anymore. So I'm completely in control. And now, I want to be sensitive to those around me, those who care for me, care about me, and care for me. And, am I being purely selfish when I say, okay, I've had enough, I'm out of here? When they may want me around longer, because there's a benefit to that. And so I have to consider that as well. I love a clip I saw years ago where Stephen Colbert is asking Keanu Reeves, what do you think happens when we die? It was kind of a gotcha question. And Keanu Reeves pauses for a minute and he says, I think when we die, the people who love us will miss us. I thought, my God, that's profound. And Colbert, being a Catholic, he thought, oh, wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
But Keanu kind of threw it back on him. And that's what I think about now more than ever is, I may be tired and ready to let it all go, but what about those around me who maybe paid a price to be with me through this journey? Am I being fair to them? What do they want? And it's a balancing act. I don't really know the answers yet.
The playing God thing was always bullshit anyway, right? Because, if I'm diagnosed with an illness and I intervene with,
Exactly.
a hospital visit or, antibiotics for whatever. Or,
so you don't take medicine to go to the doctor?
Yeah. You're not getting chemo for cancer? That's God. What are you playing God for?
I had someone on a show like that did that playing God thing, and I turned it back like that. I said, so when you're sick, you don't go to a doctor to take medicine? No, I don't actually. I said, oh, shit.
You thought you had a God
I
show.
did.
Yeah. There are those who argue that people who believe that prayer heals should be denied like medical care to see what they really believe. I'm not quite that sadistic, but I take their point, right? We pray for healing, but we pay for doctors. Dave Warnock, where you been? Mike, you were hot and heavy, you're on the speaking circuit, you disappeared.
Yeah.
Everybody said, shit, Dave died. And no one told us. That was what I heard on all my pages. Has anyone heard about Dave? Did he pass away? Where's the service? What do I do? Is there anything I can do to help him? Or is he in pain? People were really speaking with compassion about that. So when I saw your name on a speaking roster, I was like, okay, there he is. But everybody's thinking, Dave, what's up, man? Where you been?
I stepped back a year and a half or so ago, rather suddenly, I do know that. And that part is unfortunate, and I apologize for that. It wasn't fair to people as I look back on it. But I needed to for personal reasons. I'd gotten myself in a bad personal spot. And
to be clear, I don't want to peer in your windows, man. This is really, you take me where you want to go.
Oh, that's fine. No,
okay.
I don't mind.
All right.
I just need, I just got in a place where I wasn't doing well mentally, and I made some bad decisions that hurt people, and actions that hurt people, and it kind of caved in on me, and I needed to step back and get kind of reboot my own personal life, and not being on a camera, not being on a show, not being on a stage, just dealing with my shit and being accountable to those people that I had hurt. And I needed to do that, and I did it. And I'm not coming back, by the way. I just did a brief speaking thing at NanoCon, a local thing here in Nashville, and it was not a hard thing to do because it's here. But I don't really want to do any more of that publicly, the YouTube shows and things like that. It would be hard for me physically to begin with, setting up and doing these things. I mean, if the camera's turned on like now, I can talk. But even that, you can hear my voice is becoming more difficult for any length of time.
So without a crew and all that stuff, it's logistically hard. Travel's
getting really, really hard.
Yeah.
We can still do it, but it's just it's a lot. And so I just needed to take care of personal things and deal with that part of me that I'm not real proud of, and it needed some attention.
You struggle with how much of that to share publicly. You want to be transparent.
Yeah.
And you want to say, we're all human and acknowledge and go there, but at the same time, you are allowed a private life. So it's a balancing act.
It is a balancing act, and when you put yourself out there, as I did, as you do, as a public figure, so to speak, in this particular world we dwell in. I know it's a small pond, so to speak, on the world stage, but when you put yourself out there as a public person, I think to some degree you owe it to the public to be a little more transparent and not just be a complete asshole and disappear, which I did, which again, I apologize for.
It does, people do see the made up for broadcast version of public figures in many cases. I mean, it is true that people are people, no matter how. Of course, then now people are out there in the audience going, "Holy shit, Dave Warnock, is he an asshole?" And so I'm like,
can
well,
be.
I had lunch with him. He didn't seem asshole-ish to me,
No, I have been asshole-ish to some people that are very close to me, and I apologize.
No, I'm not trying to turn that screw.
No, I know what you're saying.
I want to do my
appreciate
due
that.
diligence, and I think people care. I think people care to see you in a good place and those around you in a good place. I think people still take you very personally, whether you're on the circuit or not, which is one of the reasons I was like, Dave, would you talk to me today?
Sure.
Because I think they're asking these questions vicariously through me.
It's a fair question. You got a guy you're relating with on a YouTube show or on a podcast, you feel like you know him, and he's got a terminal disease, and all of a sudden he disappears, and you're going, what the fuck, did he die all of a sudden?
Did he get Jesus? Now he's on the church circuit? What happened
I could make a lot more money doing that, actually.
You would know how to do it. For those who don't know Dave, and it is true, very few people watching probably don't know the story, but you were a Jesus freak, minister, Pentecostal. You a tongue speaker?
Yabba-dabba-doo.
You really spoke in other tongues?
I still can.
Did you travel when you ministered?
No, I was never a big deal in the church world. I was always like an associate pastor. My last ministry gig was satellite pastor. If anybody is in the modern church, you'll know that term, of a congregation of a couple hundred people. And, I did this preaching every Sunday and that sort of thing. So, yeah, I was a pastor, did the marrying and the burying and all the things.
But
ordained.
You haven't gone back. You didn't go back to Jesus and say, I want to go to heaven and all that. No, it didn't happen.
I don't know how someone does that. I mean, once the genie's out of the bottle, once you see what you see, you can't unsee it.
I don't know, Dave.
My brother's after me all the time to reconvert, and he thinks he can convince me.
I get that, though. Someone says, I want to go on. I want to see my loved ones again. I want to be in a place where my body has not been impacted by disease. I have empathy and sympathy for people who go there. I'm sure you do as well.
Of course.
So.
Yeah, I just if it was believable, I'd try to believe it. I can't. I believed it for a long time, but once that was unpacked, I couldn't pack it back in.
You at this point, as we draw to a close, because I've got to run to the airport, otherwise we talk for another hour, my friend. You are at a point now, I've noticed, where as your body continues to deteriorate, I don't know what other word to use, but
that's a good word.
you were going to need what, adaptations to the van so that your chair can get in and out?
Yep, we got a van. We just need to equip it so that the wheelchair, this power chair here, can get in and out, like on a lift and stuff like that.
Anything else going on that would help? What I'm trying to figure out is, like, if we as a community were to rally and try to help you, I think a lot of people want to. They need something specific. Like the van would be a big thing then.
The van's a big one-time kind of need. Ongoing support for caregiving is an issue because that's going to cost more and more. So that's more like a monthly thing.
Yeah.
And that's going to be an increasing need as time goes on. You know, the balancing act here is to try to maintain as much independence and quality of life without it becoming such a financially draining situation or physically taxing situation where everything you're doing all day, every day is simply trying to stay alive. That's something I don't want to do at this point, but I don't know where the cutoff line is, and I don't know how to balance that. So it's just a figuring out as we go along kind of thing.
And it's insane to live in a developed country where a major medical event can bankrupt you and those you know and love.
It
it's
does.
Just stupid.
I've known of ALS people who spent hundreds of thousands of dollars a year on just caregiving, and I don't fault anyone for whatever decisions they make, but at some point you're just bankrupting yourself and others to stay alive, and there's no quality of life there. And so it's a tough line to draw and figure out. It's just tough. There's no other ways about it.
Well, Dave, I'm not blowing smoke at you when I say it's good to see you.
You too, my friend.
And it's good to see your face. It's good to hear your voice, and your voice is strong. Still, I don't care what you say, to hear you speak. At a time when I worried if you would have the ability to speak, and you're still speaking and thinking and taking your journey, and you're being pretty raw about it, and I think people can respect that. Some people can respect that, maybe some not so much, but you're out there front and center, and people know where you are.
You've been a good friend. So I want to ask you a question.
Uh-oh. Okay.
On camera. You can't edit this out either.
I won't edit this out.
I know how you are with the editing.
I won't. I know your editor very well. All right, hit me.
When the time comes, I don't know how far it is in the future.
Yeah.
Will you speak at my funeral?
Yeah. Yes, I will. I'd be honored.
I'd be honored for you to do it. I can think of no one better.
That was unexpected. Well, you're a brother. There's no place I would rather be on that day. And I'll be there for you.
Thank you.